Hey guys, yeah, I wanted to come out here and kind of do a video that I was inspired to do as of today by Chris Bores, aka the IrateGamer. He did a video based on, or well, he talked about, I should say, some of his favorite, if not inspiring, video game books, that he looks into, he reads, and helps him get some ideas of what to talk about when he does an Irate Gamer episode. So I want to give a shout out to Chris for inspiring me to do that. And before I do anything, I also want to let you guys know that I do have my Patreon. It is open. It has two tiers right now. There's a dollar tier if you just want to help out, and which would be greatly appreciated. I mean, a dollar goes a long way, as the old saying goes. And then there's the $3 tier, which is basically where you're still helping out. You get recognition just like with the first one, with the dollar tier, that is. But with the $3 tier, not only do you get recognition and all that, but you also get to see some exclusive video content that you won't see anywhere else except on Patreon. And what I'm talking about is I've got 3 videos on there right now under the $3 tier where I'm kind of going more in depth, more uncut, more unfiltered about things that I've subtly talked about here on my channel publicly, but now now I've decided to basically allow only the Patreon supporters of the $3 tier to find out exactly what those topics were that I was talking about very subtly and publicly, what they're really about in a very uncut, unfiltered way. So I've got, like I said, 3 videos up already under the $3 tier. If you want to go that route, it'd be greatly appreciated. Like I said, it's $1 a month if you just want to help out and get recognition. And then you got the $3 one where you'll still get recognition, but you'll also be able to see the video content that you won't see anywhere else besides on Patreon. And first of all, I want to shout out to New Jersey Artist, who started out as a dollar tier supporter and then went up to the $3 tier. So thank you, New Jersey Artist, for doing that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out in the long run. So if anybody else out there wants to be like New Jersey Artist and get the recognition, get a shout out, as well as get an opportunity to view content that you won't be able to view anywhere else except through Patreon and the $3 tier, go to my Patreon at BW Roses. I will provide a link at the end of the video so you guys can check it out there. If you choose to do so, I would greatly appreciate it, especially during these times where we're starting to slowly, hopefully, get out of this pandemic era that we're in and get back to normal. So helping each other out, with $1 or $3 support would be greatly appreciated. But now on to the point of this video. Like I said, Chris Bores, aka the Irate Gamer, did his video earlier today. He uploaded it where he was talking about some of the videos, well, not videos, but some of the books, I should say, video game books that he would utilize to get ideas to implement into Irate Gamer episodes. In fact, he even talked about one of the books called The Ultimate History of Video Games, which he used as a catalyst and inspiration to do the History of Video Games series that he did several years ago. He shows off a lot of other books as well, like even the one by Pat Contra, aka the NES Punk. He shows that off. He shows off some ominous, if you will, books as well, and even one of the ominous books that's going to have a second volume in which he'll be contributing and being part of once that gets released down the line. But speaking of books, like I said, it inspired me to kind of look into some of the books that I have, that I've collected, and I like to look through every now and then. I've already done 2 videos where I've showed off my Sonic comic collection, my Archie Sonic comic collection. I'll provide that in the description at the end of this video as well, so you can click on that if you choose to check that out. As well as I also talked about the Transformer books that I have, that I've collected, along with the comics and everything. I'll provide a link at the end of the video for you guys to click on that as well, so you have 2 extra videos to check out that are related to what this video is going to be like to view afterwards if you choose to do so. Now, what is this video about? Well, basically, as you could probably see, well, maybe you can't see, I have a ton of books here that I've bought throughout the years, throughout the past like 10, 15, 20 years. And I have basically collected them, and I basically have had them with me, I should say, for quite some time. In fact, one of them at the bottom here I've had since I lived in Kansas. So I've had that for about, I would say 15, 20, I would say almost 20 years, more along the lines of 15. But it's one of those books that when I saw it, I was like, I gotta get this. I gotta get this book and, add it to my collection, because if you're an animation fan, you have to get this book. It definitely gives you a great detail history on what it's based around. But anyway, enough talking here. Well, that's what we're going to be doing in this video anyway. But enough talking, installing, I should say. And let's get into the books that I do have, that I have yet to show them. I've actually probably talked about these as well and shown them off a bit, but not really like gone the full distance with them, if you will. So first of all, we're going to start off with a couple of books that I have that, as you probably know, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I'm a huge wrestling fan, if you will. I may not watch it as much as I used to. I mean, the way wrestling is nowadays, I don't think a lot of people are watching it too much. I mean, the only way a lot of us pay attention to wrestling is through probably here on YouTube, through the clips that are uploaded, or listening to what other people, like, let's say OTRS Central, Just Alex, Alex 6, if you will, formerly Deluxe Man, JD from NY206, Brian Alvarez, all of them. That's probably the only way we kind of pay attention and keep up with what's going on in wrestling. But yeah, I'm still basically a huge wrestling fan. Like I said, though, maybe not as much, like from a watching perspective, but I still, pay attention. In fact, when I get in the mood, I will watch the WWE Network and watch some of the documentaries, if not some of the classic stuff that they have there, as well as any classic footage people might upload here on YouTube or Dailymotion or wherever. But speaking of wrestling, of course, being a wrestling fan, I collected a lot of books. Now, some of the other books I do have are basically stored away in the garage. They're mostly just magazines and the PWI Insider, graphic novel. Well, I wouldn't say graphic novels, but like digest versions of PWI, these 500 list, if you will, for the year. So the books I have here, though, are the kind of books that have been promoted on television. Basically, like, they're basically promoted to the point that they are considered bestsellers by the New York Times and all that, if you believe it. And I do believe it, because I've seen like the list at times that they are at #1. So to start off, the first book I have here, I actually have the audio cassette for it as well, and you can actually find this on YouTube. Somebody actually uploaded the whole audio version of this book, and it was promoted as one of the more sought after books when it was released. And we got The Stone Cold Truth. We have The Stone Cold Truth with Jim Jr., good old Jr., Jim Ross, as told to Dennis Brent. So I have the Steve Austin book, and again, this was like one of the books that was, people have been wanting, people were looking forward to when it came out, because of the fact that, it just gives you a lot of history on on basically Austin's career, like from his days in WCW, his days in the USWA, CWA, and stuff like that. It gives you some photos as well that you don't see anywhere else. Even, I think it shows his dad playing football as well. So that's pretty cool that they do that. And again, like I said, it gives you an entire history of his time. Like here he is playing, I think, college sports. What was this at? This was I don't know, what was this at? I think it says on the back. North Texas. Yeah, he was playing at North Texas there. So yeah, he played football, and obviously, and it gives you, more stuff here. Like this is This is a postcard he gave to his family. So, yeah, just a lot of stuff interesting that you would get in here. And let's see, Jennifer and Me, that's his first wife. I think that was Blossom or Cherry Blossom. I don't know if that was Peaches or something. And then, of course, it shows, like I said, his days in the Mid-South, like with Prissy Pringle, Paul Bearer as his manager, and his first wife, I think. And then his time in WCW. So it gives you a whole in-depth look at his career, basically. So it's pretty cool. It even talks about his history as the one half of the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman, which is really nice. And then how that kind of continued, in a sense, into WWE. And it gives you some colored photos as well, like right there, it gives you some colored photos, which is pretty cool. So it's just a really interesting book, and you know, it's definitely worth getting. If you can get your hands on it, it's definitely worth getting along the lines. So I would recommend it. I was really glad to get this in the collection. So put this back down here where I had it. Had it under my desk for a bit. This one, of course, is a classic. Anybody, I think, should have this in the collection. This is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is obviously a novelization. This is Speak Platinum Edition. And of course I have the movie on digital as well as the Blu-ray Complete Novel Edition. That's what it's called. It's called the Complete Novel, the Blu-ray that is. But yeah, this is just the Outsider book. Gotta have this in your collection, there's no doubt. And I used to have it in my collection. Well, actually I do. But my mom ended up putting it in her books because she likes The Outsiders as well. But yeah, definitely worth getting or having in your collection if you haven't had it yet. And this is also something that I think if you go to school, and I think anybody that's in school now pretty much knows that this is one of those necessary reads that you go through and you have to do reports on and everything. It's basically like, as far as I know, The Outsiders is one of those stories like with Lord of the Flies and all that that you are basically recommended to read in your English class or your history class, mostly your English class. And then basically the ending, the climax of all that studying and reading and all that is you get to see the movie that is based on the book and kind of see the similarities, if not the difference. So I was really, really glad to have that. And then, of course, the other wrestling book I have is one that when it came out, I was like, yeah, I got to get this no matter what. I got to get this. And, of course, I'm talking Hollywood Hulk Hogan with Michael Jan Friedman. So there you go. Basically, it's a Hulk story. And again, just like with Austin's book, it gives you some photos you won't see anywhere else, like when him playing baseball and, you know, him in a band and all that. So it's really cool. And again, it's just something you had to get. It's one of those things that WWE has done. And one of the good things that some people would say WWE does at times, if not still does, and that is basically you know, help produce and promote some great novels and all that, or great autobiographies, if you will. So it's really cool. And like I said, just like the Austin book, you get some never before seen photos, which I really, really like. You know, so it's really cool. It's really cool and everything to see all that. Just really great. And I do have the audio version of this. I have the CD audio version as well. So, and just like with the Stone Cold one, I have the audio cassette version of that. I have the audio CD of this. So, I can read this on my own, or I can play it and basically have it read along with me, you know, while I'm looking at it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I got the Hulk Hogan one. And in this one, it's not wrestling related, but this recently came out last year, and I decided I was going to get it for myself and all that. I mean, I was considering getting one for my sisters. I still might do that as well down the line. But I wanted to get it for myself as well because I love this. I mean, who doesn't love this woman? She is one of the greatest female singers of all time, and I'm talking about Mariah Carey. And this is her book, The Meaning of Mariah. Really, really great stuff. And it's got some great, never before seen photos in there. Really like it. It's definitely worth getting and everything. It definitely lives up to what they say it does. So really great to have it. Really good. I haven't read through it all just yet, but it's really cool. And it even shows her with Whitney, I think, on the set for the music video of When You Believe. So that's really cool. Just some great photos in here that you don't see anywhere else. And again, to me, it definitely looks like a book worth reading. It's Mariah Carey with Michael Angela Davis. So, really good. And obviously, it was one of the more popular, or not popular, but one of the more sought out ones, or not sought out, but anticipated ones that they were promoting because of the fact that it's Mariah and it's basically her life story. So, I was just really glad to get this. And basically, what it was is it was basically a Christmas gift to myself. I mean, you know the video I did where I opened some presents and all that to myself. This was one of them, and I might just get one for my sisters as well. Just really glad to have that. Then getting back to wrestling here, I have this one. This is Making the Game, WWE's Triple H's Approach to a Better Body with Robert Caparro. It's basically a training book. It's a hybrid of a training book and an autobiography, because it shows that's a picture of one of his first matches ever. So it's a picture of one of his first matches ever. And again, like I said, I was just really happy to get this. In fact, what is this? Yeah, he was working in a mall. This is one of his his first matches ever. And I think somebody even put that match on YouTube somewhere. And then there's a picture of him in IWF as Terror Rising. And that's the name he would take with him to WCW. It's, Terror Rising. So it's half biography. Like I said, it's half autobiography, half training book. So, really cool. It's a really good hybrid. I really like what he did here. And I think he's got some colored pictures. Yeah, he's got some colored pictures in here too. Mostly just working out and everything. But yeah, it's really cool to see. And I think he's got some, yeah, that's one of his, let's see, I'm trying to look here. Yeah, this is his life in WCW and everything. And he was, like I said, he took the Terror Rising name with him to WCW, and then they changed it up and made him John Paul Levesque. There he is right there, John Paul Levesque. And they even tried to pair him up with Steven Regal, as I guess that would be the first incarnation of the Blue Bloods. But, it didn't happen. Because what happened is, according to the game DVD, which I have, they had a discussion to where, it's like he wanted to stay, in WCW because him and Regal had this thing going. When he got the call by WWE, and Regal's like, no, you have to go. He said, no, you go. You go there. You make something out of yourself. And best advice, I think Triple H ever got. So, but I'm really glad to get this because not only am I a fan of the guy, but like I said, it's a great hybrid of an autobiography and basically a training book, nutrition book, if you will, as well. So if you haven't gotten this and you're a wrestling fan, I would recommend getting it. Then next up, this one came up, and obviously obviously the biography they did on Bischoff is kind of based around this, and it's Controversy Creates Cash, and again, it's just an autobiography of his time in the wrestling business, and how, he made WCW into what it was, and how he used like certain moments to get WCW like to the forefront, some of the controversy that he would stir up, like giving away results and all that. It's really cool. And again, it gives you some photos that you won't see anywhere else. So to me, it's an interesting read. I mean, honest to God, you cannot go wrong with this book. You cannot go wrong with that, with this book. Now, I do have another book. I think I have another book somewhere. I gotta look for it. But I don't, I think, like I said, I think I have it somewhere. I don't know how to look. Okay, I think it may have been based on ECW or something. I have to look on that one. But yeah, it was, but yeah, just getting this book though was really great. It was just really great to get, and can't recommend it any more than what I am. Again, this is another good book. I would recommend putting it in your collection if you're a wrestling fan. But like I said, I do have some other ones as well. I think I have an ECW one somewhere. I just don't know where I have it. I think I may have it stored away or something. I have to look. And speaking of wrestling, got this one. This is the Heartbreak and Triumph, the Shawn Michaels story. This is a book that came out after his return to the ring. And again, it's another autobiography with some unique pictures and even scriptures in here too. So, just another great addition to have in the collection, if you will. So, like I said, just another great addition to have in the collection. If you're a wrestling fan, that is. Like I said, it's just another great addition to have. Because again, it's another great autobiography that gives you stuff, and gives you an inside look of who the person is, and what their life story is and how they got into the business. So again, another highly recommended book to try to get into your collection if you're a wrestling fan. And then this one I recently got from Amazon. And the way I found out about this, and I mentioned it in the Amazon deal, YouTube had recommended a video to me, and it was about the Warrior, but it had Triple H on there talking about a book that came out last year, I think, or something like that, called Ultimate Warrior: A Life Lived Forever, The Legend of a WWE Hero. And basically, the reason they promoted this book the way they did, written by John Robinson, forwarded by Dana Warrior, his widow, and introduction by Paul Triple H Levesque. And the reason they promoted this the way they did was because of the fact that it has a lot of amenities in here, a lot of stuff in here that you would not expect them to, to put into a book. Like, of course, they have photos and everything. Like when he first started out, like this one is a world-class photo of him as the Dingo Warrior. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool and everything. And like I said, it gives you information and all that. So it's really cool, really great. But what it also does, and this was kind of crazy. This was kind of crazy, if you will, because I was surprised that they included this. They include stuff like his state of Oregon, his wrestling, Boxing and Wrestling Commission license. Yeah, this is his license. So they give you a lot of stuff like his license is in there, or at least a copy of it, his wrestling license, which is really cool. So, and they have stuff like, have stuff with Lawler and Sting in there, which is really nice. And it shows you the evolution of the guy from Dingo, even during his early days. Like, that's what he looked like, I think, in World Class with a mustache and everything. So, it's really cool to have these cool to have this kind of stuff. And it shows him with Von Erich. I think this might have been when they were both in WWE. At least that one, that is. That picture. But again, it shows you some stuff in World Class. Like, he was even managed by Gary Hart, it looks like. He was managed by Gary Hart. So, that's pretty cool. To have that on your resume. And then, like I said, it's got other stuff on here. Like, it's even got sheet music to his Unstable entrance theme, which is something that, you know, again, no other book does this, which is kind of cool. And I'm thinking now that this book is out, a lot of books are going to follow suit. They're going to be like, you know, we could do replicas of these things and go from there. So, like here you have, what is this? Oh, we got a promotional poster for the Royal Rumble and the super pose down he had with Rick Rude, which is pretty cool. It just really gives you a lot of stuff in here that, again, as some people would say, you don't normally get anywhere else. Like here, you get a freaking enlarged version of a ticket for WrestleMania 6. Where else are you going to get that? That's pretty cool. And it's section 32, row 18, seat 20, which I would assume they had to get this from Adam Copeland. They had to. They had to get this replica from Adam. Or at least get this ticket so they could replicate it from him. Well, they had it probably on storage, who knows. And then here, oh, this is cool. Oh, it's a WrestleMania 6 meet or something. Like, basically, it looks like it's a, you know, it's a rundown of all the matches and all that. So that's pretty cool. Didn't even notice that, but that's pretty cool. But again, it's one of those books that, you know, because there are books out there that do this, that, you know, give you all of this. So that's pretty cool. Give you this kind of stuff. So it's really cool to see all this. Like I said, it's just really cool. It even gives his history of his time in WCW, talks about his induction to the Hall of Fame and everything, and how, you know, everything had to go from here to there and stuff like that. And then, of course, you got some tassels in here too, which is throughout. You got tassels thrown throughout, so that's pretty cool. See if there's anything else. And then you get the mask, basically, that he wore on his last appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. So you get that. It's really nice. Basically, you get a lot of stuff in here that, again, you know, I think even Triple H said, where else would you get this kind of stuff? You know, you wouldn't. So it's really cool to see a lot of this and, you know, to have it and, you know, just, you know, it's just a part of history. And again, there's no other wrestler like him, or what will it be like him, so despite whatever they try. But yeah, it's really great to have in the collection if you're a wrestling fan, especially with its amenities that it offers. And then, next, we have, I'll talk about this one first so I can fit it in there. We have this book. This is a visual directory. I got this when I used to work at Walmart. This is a visual directory for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So not The Rise of Skywalker, but The Last Jedi. So this is a book, obviously, that if you're a Star Wars fan, I would recommend trying to find. It shouldn't be too hard, maybe, but it's definitely worth getting, if you will. So I got that book in here. I got that book. So like I say, if you're a collector, You know, it's worth having, if you will. So definitely worth getting that one. One thing about these covers, they slip off easily. And then this one is really interesting because I've had this one for I think 15 years. I got this book. Believe it or not, I got this book. I think I got it at Walmart. I can't remember. It was in, I know I got it in Lawrence, Kansas. I either got it at Walmart, half price bookstores, Hastings, or Go Hastings as it's known, or online. I think it may have been Go Hastings, I think, or somewhere. But this is Hanna-Barbera cartoons. This is a book that if you're an animation fan, this is the one I talked about at the beginning. If you're an animation fan, you need to get this. And look at the cover there. It's basically a cell print of all the characters together. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a great book. It's basically the story of Hanna-Barbera. It gives you all the information you would want, you know, on it. You know, from like, you know, when they started with the Rough and Ready show and, you know, which is really cool, to, you know, things like the dawn of television animation, and Rough and Ready was like one of the two first shows, and it gives you a lot of photos and stuff of some of the people behind it, you know, behind, you know, the creation of a lot of these legendary shows. So that's really cool. So yeah, it's really neat. It's really nice to have. It even shows you some of the people behind the voices of like the Jetsons and the Flintstones, which is really cool. So yeah, it's just a big old thing here. It's got a lot of information. Again, if you could track this book down, you've got something that, you know, obviously is going to be something to want to look. You're going to want to look back on a lot, because they got a lot of stuff in here. They got stuff like title cards and everything, which is really neat. And they got some images, promotional images that you don't see anywhere else unless, let's say, you scan them and then you print them out, like this. That's something you won't see anywhere unless you look online. And then, like I said, it shows you images like this here. You have to basically pull back and get that. That's unbelievable. So it's a great book. There's no doubt about it. It's a great book. And then it talks about all the shows they did, like with the Flintstones, if you will. And obviously we know the Flintstones was a long thing. It even shows you how long it went. It went from 1960 to 1966, that being the Flintstones. You know, and it goes season by season on it, so which is really cool. Including gives you concept art and all that. So really cool. See, it goes season by season with the Flintstones and everything. And basically by going season by season, if you will, which is really neat. It gives you also how many episodes they did. You know, like number of the episodes basically. And the number of episodes they give you for the Flintstones is totaled 166 episodes. And it's like, it was basically like, what's the one I'm looking for? It was basically like towards the end, like the story of Rocky's Raiders. That kind of gave you a clue that if they were going to do any more Flintstones, it was going to be basically, you know, in that kind of a format. And then, of course, you got the Yogi Bear show, which ran from 58 to 62, which was a spin-off of the Huckleberry Hound show. and this ran basically for quite some time, and then you see there with Cindy. That's how she was not. Cindy's design was not like what we know of her today. It was completely different. But yeah, Yogi ran in his initial run. Ran for about let's see, it ran for about uh, 35 episodes throughout all those seasons, throughout all those years. So it ran for 35 episodes, ending with Happy Birthday Yogi Bear Part 1, 2, and 3. So it's pretty cool. And then, of course, you get the Jetsons, I think. The Jetsons on the next... Are the Jetsons on the next... No, Top Cat is the next one. Top Cat was 1961 to 62. So he was like the third one. And a lot of these were... at least the Flintstones for the time being. I think Top Cat teased it as well. Ran in prime time. And basically, Top Cat ran for about 30 episodes. He only did 30 episodes. And then the Jetsons, which recently has had a Blu-ray release, the Jetsons, and it's a Blu-ray release of this series, of this original run, 62 to 63, with the second most watched primetime show out of there, the second primetime show from Hanna-Barbera. And they ran, for the Jetsons that is, they ran, I think, for about, according to this, was it more than that? I thought it was more. No, it was 24 episodes they ran. 24 episodes that they ran on the Jetsons. So, and then of course they get into other ones like Johnny Quest, and Johnny Quest ran for about initially 26 episodes, and he started around 1964 to 65. And then you have Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And of course everybody loves Scooby-Doo. This one went from 1969 to 1970, but then of course popularity just blew it up. In the initial run though, Scooby had about, I would say 25 episodes. They had 25 episodes initially, so it's pretty cool. And then here you have another splash page that you have to open up and everything, so pretty cool. And then of course it gets into like the later years, like Cartoon Network, like with world premiere tunes in 1993. Well, 1995 actually, sorry about that. And then it shows you the last picture of William Hanna in one of his last cartoons he did, which was Hard Luck Duck. It's the last one I think that's who, yeah, Bill Hanna holds the title card from his cartoon, from his cartoon Hard Luck Duck, which was his first solo directing effort in nearly 60 years. So yeah, it was one of the last ones that he did, though. It was the last one of the last ones that he did. And then of course it talks about Dexter's Laboratory, and then Johnny Bravo, and Cow and Chicken. It just starts getting more into that. And then you get like an index, and Powerpuff Girls, of course. And then you get an index basically, and then you get another like splash page right there that you have to open up and turn on its side. But then, like I said, you get like an index page, a catalog, raison, if you will, limited animation art. So basically, kind of gives you an idea of some of the cells that they would use to promote stuff. And then they would do, and it's not like a lot of pages for this, and then it's got like an index and everything. So overall, it's definitely worth getting and putting in your collection. I'll put it that way. It's worth getting, putting in your collection, and that's all I can say, guys. Just worth getting. If you can find it, get it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. So, anyway, as I put stuff back here. Hold on. So, next up, and I know Chris's videos weren't this long, so I do apologize. Next up, we have some other books I have here. And we're going to start off, of course, with everybody's favorite, MLP. And here, we have, I got to get these in order, actually. Yeah, got to get these in order. We have the Elements of Harmony, Volume 1. And we have the Elements of Harmony Official Guidebook, Volume 2. And what these are basically is, just, not only, information books, like guidebooks, as they say, but they're also season books. And this one goes from, like, around, I think, season 4 up to about, I think, season 6. I don't think it goes to season 7 or anything. It gives you song lyrics and everything. Yeah, it goes up to 4, 5, and 6 with this one. And it gives you a lot on here. It gives you a guide of who the characters are, what the episodes were about, the reformed villains they had at that time, the Power Ponies, which was a big promotional deal, if you will. And it gives you song lyrics and everything. It says Volume 2 includes updated episode guides, song lyrics, locations, timelines for all your favorite characters, and so much more. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you have the first volume, which is seasons 1 to 3, and again does the same thing. It basically it gives you, episode guidelines and stuff, as well as it tells you who the characters are in the history of Equestria and stuff. So, pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have and everything. And again, same thing. I think it gives you song lyrics in here as well. And it gives you up to season 3 with Magic, Mystery, Cure, and all that. So, it's really cool. It's really cool to have in the collection. And then we have this one. This is the Journal of the Two Sisters. This is basically a story. This is basically a journal in character, in story, Celestia and Luna and how they came to be. It's also somewhat of a history of alicorns. And what was really interesting about this book is if you watch Bronies React for season 6's premiere, basically, when Luna and Celestia say the line of the birth of an alicorn is something that Equestria has never seen, and that's beyond their understanding. Everybody starts to reference this book, and then you see Josh Scorcher, aka Firebrand, go like, but, and you see this book, literally pop up on the screen going, So, but yeah, it's a good book, and obviously, it was written before they did season 6, so, but I do recommend getting it, especially if you're a fan of the show and you want to kind of see basically like how far and different things were then than what they are now, basically, as I take care of a few things here. Because they all fell back when I was taking these books out. Yeah, I'll take care of it in a moment. They're all falling apart there, or at least falling loose. But anyway, to get back on track here, let's talk about some other books here. Here we have The Art of My Little Pony the Movie. This is something that a lot of studios have done, Disney included, where they basically give you an idea of what the art style was going to look like for the movie as they were progressing it and everything. So it's really cool. And it actually gives you like an idea, it gives you some deleted scenes, like, what the characters would have gone through or what the towns would have looked like and stuff that was cut. So definitely worth getting if you want to have a more in-depth behind-the-scenes deal about the book. You want to learn more about it, like I said, like about behind-the-scenes things and all that. So, it's really interesting. And again, it gives you scenes in here and everything that was not included in the movie. And then, of course, we have the Art of Equestria. This book is, again, another kind of guidebook. It tells you about who the characters are, but it also basically shows you some of the designs of the characters, before they were officially developed. Like, here's one of my favorites, Rarity, of course. She's one of my favorites. It's not everybody's favorite. And it gives you an idea of, like, what she would have looked like. I think that's one of her original designs, right there. So, of what she would have looked like and everything. And then, of course, you got AJ here. And, she hasn't changed too much. I think that was one of her initial designs right there, though. So, yeah, it's basically kind of like very similar to a guidebook, but it goes up to season 4, episode 4. With some of these, and well, actually goes. It's a book that came out obviously. It's a book that came out. Let's see. In season 4, it came out at the end of season 4. It gives you a storyboard and everything as well, like for Twilight's Kingdom and all that. So it's pretty cool. And then it gives you a section on Pony Revolution, like why are you a brony, all that, kind of talking about people, male people like me being fans. And then it shows you a lot of artwork and everything, so it's really nice to have in there. But yeah, it's really a great book to have in the collection if you decide to, get it down the line. But it's really a great book to have as I try to put it back in here as best as I can. Again, I gotta move some stuff here. Okay, hold on, guys. This is what happens when you have a lot of books, if you will, in your collection. You have to move things around to try to get them to fit. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. This is what happens when you are like me and you do things live and unrestricted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta put these books later. That's what happens when you're like me. You do things live and unrestricted. You're bound to see things be unscripted, if you will. But anyway, to get back to the books here, the next book I have here is more like a graphic novel comic collection. I actually got introduced to this book thanks to Nostalgia Critic, aka Doug Walker. He decided to do a video on it because I think it even surprised him about these stories. These are this is basically a collection of all the Super Mario Brother adventure stories. And basically, these were stories that were part of the Nintendo Power magazines. And what they decided to do was save people the trouble of having to dig through, all the Nintendo Power issues to get them. And they decided to collect them all, if you will, into one individual collection. And one of the reasons I think, he got attracted to this was the way, Princess Toadstool, Princess Peach, if you will, was portrayed. It's like, you would not expect Princess Peach, to be portrayed the way she was. It's like, where did this come from, if you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is a great book to have in your collection if you wanted to get one. Then another book here is something I got from Frank Hill. This is the official Sonic the Hedgehog yearbook. This was released in 1991, I think. Yeah, 91, 92. And you could tell because it says, win a Mega CD and are great free to enter competition. And it's basically just, giving you a look at the game aims, if you will, of Sonic as well as other Sega games. And then that's what they're talking about, the Sega CD. So, yeah, it's a great book to get if you can get in your collection down the line. But yeah, it's a nice Sonic collector book. Really, really glad to have that. Thank you, Frank Hill. Then these two I got because, I got introduced to it a long time ago through Amy Squirrel and A Walk in the Park, and then just went from there with the Sabrina stuff. And of course, I'm talking about Sabrina Online. These are collection novels, or collection graphic novels of basically the first 2 decades of the Sabrina book. These go from book 1 or year 1 to essentially I would say year 14, if you will. So that's what these are. And it's really cool. It's a really cool story, a collection of the stories, because, you could read these on Sabrina Online website, but instead of just looking through them, what Eric did is he, got it got United Publications to help, collect all the stories into 2 different trade collector hardbacks, if you will. They do have another one that's out that I want to get. That basically takes a lot of the more recent stories and collects them together. I want to get that as well. So, yeah, definitely. If you're interested in some, I would say, Looney Tune Animaniacs inspired content to read, Sabrina is definitely a way to go. Especially if you want to see a story arc and characters that grew up with the internet. Show exactly that. Here in comic form, in real time, if you will. Then this one I got basically, I think I got this through Amazon, I believe. This is The Wonderful World of Disney Television, A Complete History by Bill Carter. This was a book that originally was for like $24.96. I got it for a lot cheaper than that. This was published, I think, if I can find the year for it, published in 1997, copyrighted 1997, And it gives you a whole backlog on the history of the Disney television, like a whole index and everything. And it even goes up to the Disney Afternoon. Things like Rescue Rangers and Tailspin and all that. And it gives you history like with Davy Crockett and everything. Everything Disney television-wise, is there. So definitely worth a book getting if you're, if you want to learn more about the history of Disney television and Disney animation. And then speaking of Disney animation, I got this for myself as well. I think I got this through Amazon. This is something that I saw at Brunette Animat, if you will, show, and that is the Art of Zootopia. Yes, the Art of Zootopia. And just like with the Art of MLP, of My Little Pony the movie, it shows you basically the artistic style of how Zootopia was going to look, how Judy and Nick were going to originally look. Like, here's get back here. Here's some of the concepts for Judy before we got what we did, which is really cool. Before we got the Judy that we now know, and here's more concepts and all that. She actually had hair, guys. She actually had hair, but thankfully they went with the design that we got, which is, of course, this design. Really happy for that. And then, of course, the same with Nick and what he was going to look like originally. So they give you a look at what he was going to look like, and before we got to the design that he is, right here. So, just a really great book to have. You want to look into the behind-the-scenes history of Zootopia and how it came to be, how certain areas were cut out of the movie that they would have explored. Just really great stuff. Some really great stuff, guys. And then this one, I believe I got from Frank Hill, I think, or either I got it. I believe it was Frank Hill that got me this. I believe so. I can't really remember. I don't know if it was him or Frank Hill. Oh, not him, but I can't remember if it was me or Frank Hill that got me this. But this, I think it was Frank Hill. Yeah, it was Frank Hill. And this is the history of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a book that basically tells you all about the history of Sonic in the games and everything. I think it does touch upon some of the shows, maybe. I'm not really sure. It does touch upon the shows, those and everything. I think it does. It may have touched upon them. I'm not really sure. But it talks about his time throughout the game consoles, the regular Genesis, Game Gear, Dreamcast, Sega CD. It goes all the way up to that. Even now onto things like Game Boy and all that. Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS. Then it even talks about the crossover with Mario at the Olympics. So it's got an interview with Yuji Naka. Yuji Naka is in there. And it's got 20 questions for Takasha Azika. Can't pronounce the name, do apologize. But it talks about all the games, like the 2D games and everything. It talks about the 3D games, like with Shadow and stuff like that. The portable games, the handhelds. It really goes off into a lot of stuff here. The mobile games, which we now have. And then it's got the spin-off games like Sonic Fighters, Wacky Worlds Creative Studios, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Eraser. It's got Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter, Sonic Spinball, it's got Waku Sonic Patrol Car. It talks about games you didn't even know about, like Sonic the Hedgehog's Game World, Sonic Drift, Tails and the Music Maker, Knuckles Chaotic, Sonic Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, Tails Adventure, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic Schoolhouse, Sonic the Fighters, Sonic Shuffle, Sonic R, Sonic Pinball Party, Sonic Battle, Riders, Superstars, Zero Gravity, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Chronicles, Dark Brotherhood, Smash Bros. Brawl, superstar tennis at the Olympic Winter Games. And it tells you about the characters. It gives you Sonic, gives you Amy, it gives you Tails, it gives you Knuckles, gives you Rouge. You know, it gives you them all. It gives you the Chow, gives you Shadow, it gives you Silver. You know, it gives you E102 Gamma. It gives you Big. I think it's got Rouge in here too. It gives you the Babylon Rogues. It gives you Tikal. It gives you Chaos. It gives you Cream. It gives you Vector, Blaze, Silver. I think Rouge has to be in here somewhere. I think she's before. No, is she? Where is she? Come on. I know she's in here. She's probably after Shadow. No, my luck. No, she's not after Shadow. She at the end? That's kind of crazy. They got Charmy the Bee. They got Chaos. They got E10 Gamma. SBO. Big. Jet. Storm. Metal Sonic. Tikal, like I said. I don't know where Rouge is here. Sorry about this, guys. You would think that do a history. We've got Blaze in here, so I don't know. Did they not include Rouge? No, there she is. There's Rouge. One between Cream and Chow. Yeah, so there's Rouge right there. So just making sure they had all of them in there. So yeah, they have all the characters. Mostly it's a game-centric book. But yeah, it's really great to have in the collection if you ever choose to get one like it. But anyway, though, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video showing you the other books that I have. Thank you to Chris Bors, IrateGamer, for kind of giving me the inspiration to do this. I know I kind of was not I kind of know that I was fixing things on camera and all that, but again, like I said, that's what you get when you deal with somebody like me that does things unscripted, without basically unscripted and kind of live, even though this is recorded, but it's going to be live in premiere mode, if you know what I mean. But you kind of get what I'm saying. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, check out my Patreon at BW Rosas. Check that out. Really helps me out. Check me out at anchor.fm for BW Rosas discussions, which you can also find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Amazon Music, you name it. You can mostly find it at anywhere that has a podcast, except for Pandora. Still working on that. So, anyway, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. And I will talk to you all later. Take care. God bless. Get vaccinated if you can. And I'm out.